Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the best brawlers with the brand new gadget gear. Everybody's been asking this question. There's been a lot of update content to cover, so I had to get that out of the way. And now we're going to be taking a look at probably the best gear inside of the game. Make sure to get the gear on these brawlers in particular. So the first brawler we're going to be taking a look at is Dynamite and his gadget Satchel Charge. So Satchel Charge, of course, is one of the best gadgets in the game. It does require some really good accuracy, but of course, if you do connect it, it's so deadly. And of course, with the brand new gadget gear, having 4 of those just makes Dynamite even more of a threat, especially on those maps with a lot of unbreakable walls. I'm talking like Field Goal, for example, or any heist map in particular. It just makes a Dynamite a lot more powerful, because as long as you know that Dynamite has that Satchel Charge available, you can't really just aimlessly run at him, because again, if he connects it, he can just land some quick combos, especially with his super, and just take you down so quickly. So you definitely need the gadget gear on Dynamite. So next up, we're taking a look at Squeak's gadget Residue. So you guys know, for the longest time, Residue has been one of the best gadgets inside of the game. They've recently actually nerfed the Residue duration from 10 seconds to 8 seconds, but now with the gadget gear, you technically get a longer duration now with Residue, which is absolutely insane. And to be honest, I feel like he's actually more toxic maybe than before. And he's probably not the best brawler in the game, right? But of course, with the gadget gear, being able just to push the opponents back by just literally of a click of a green button, it is crazy to me. So yeah, Residue, if anything, has actually been buffed, and you definitely need it on Squeak. But next brawler you definitely need the gadget gear with, it is Shelly. So Shelly, of course, has Clay Pigeons, which is one of the best gadgets inside of the game. And boy, does it make her even more broken. Having 4 Clay Pigeons at your disposal just makes it really hard for the opponents to really, like, not ignore you, if you get what I mean. Like, normally before, you could just kind of ignore Shelly in some ways, or just keep your distance pretty well once she runs out of those Clay Pigeons. But now, she has 4 chances to get maybe like a Shell Shock and Clay Pigeon combination, or just able to get a lot of pressure and cycle super a lot easier. And of course, with Hypercharge now, you can get so much more value out of Clay Pigeons as well. It's just so broken. I feel like the only way you actually no, I think in every single scenario you do speed gear and gadget gear, maybe damage gear and gadget gear on the non-grassy maps. But overall, this is definitely one of the best gears for Shelly. Jumping into the next brawler, you definitely need the gadget gear with, it is with Tara. So Tara is one of the brawlers I'd say in the game that frustrate me the most in terms of their gadget, because the support from beyond the gadget is so toxic. It just in pretty much every matchup, you think any brawler that doesn't have some kind of piercing effects, those pets are going to waste so much ammo and get you so much pressure. And now with 4 sets of pets, you're able just to spam them at the beginning of the game. I played so much Tara since the update, and literally all I've been doing is clicking green button, pressuring the enemies back, and a lot of times it can just get you a goal by just, again, clicking the green button. Again, I still feel like the gadget gear is better than damage, for example, but not better than speed on grassier maps. So a lot of times you want to combine the speed gear with the gadget gear, but you're just bound to get so much value with it. Jumping into the brawler, which I probably think is the best with his gadget gear, it is Carl with the Flying Hook gadgets. So Flying Hook is one of the best gadgets in the game, so of course you can kind of correlate the best gadgets to which you should buy the gadget gear with. But anyways, Carl is probably the brawler I would say where you always have to be aware whether he's got gadgets left, because if he gets a deadly Flying Hook and maybe Protective Pirouette combination, you're pretty much done for a lot of the times. So now he has 4 opportunities to make space, make plays, get pressure. It's so toxic. It just feels like he never runs out of them. He's able to get positioning really early as well, especially in Heist, for example. He's able to get the Blue Star and Bounty and still have 3 gadgets to hand. So for me, it's a definite must buy. So moving on to the next brawler, which you definitely need the gadget gear with, it is Edgar. So you Edgar mains out there, I feel like he's somewhat got better in the meta just because of his gadget gear, but then again, heists have been removed from ladder, so you can take that into consideration. But anyways, the gadget gear with Let's Fly combination actually is secretly really strong. I was playing about Edgar for about an hour and pushing pretty successfully using the supercharged gear and also this gadget gear, because you know the big problem with Edgar that I face, yeah, he might be able to win a lot of his 1v1s, but it's the fact that if you don't cycle your super well enough, or you run out of Let's Fly gadgets, you're basically a sitting duck. You have no range. It takes forever to charge up that super automatically. So now you have 4 free supers throughout the game. It's huge for Edgar. Maybe this might push him a little bit higher than the F tier. We'll have to wait and see. The next brawler you definitely need the gadget gear with, it is Gray. So Gray with Walking Cane is such a deadly combination. And if you think of the game modes which Gray is really strong in already, like Knockout, Bounty, Wipeout, typically those game modes last pretty short in duration. So, you know, for knockout, for example, you might typically use 1 gadget per round. But now you have the opportunity to use 2 gadgets in a round, and that can be so deadly for a gadget like Walking Cane, because you take into consideration, you know, a map like Bell's Rock, where you're able to push up to the walls really quickly, and you're able just to connect your Walking Cane so easily onto like a thrower or any squishy brawler. Any squishy brawler is pretty much dead if you connect the Walking Cane onto them. So it makes Gray such a good asset, and definitely one of the best to get the gadget gear with. Next up on the must-buy gadget list, we have Crow. So Slowing Toxin is one of the best gadgets in the game, and like I predicted, I feel like Crow, if anything, has actually got better, even though he received a small nerf in the past 2 updates, because you have 4 uses of your Slowing Toxic. How toxic is that? It is so hard to push into a Crow now, especially when you're playing like Brawl and you're trying to push in, but Crow has 4 of those slows. It literally feels like he's still got a slow in overtime every single time. It is ridiculous right now, and the fact that as well, I feel like it's pretty hard sometimes to pick between gears with Crow. He's got his mythic gear, he's got speed and also shield, which are pretty good, but I still feel like the gadget gear is probably the best out of all of them. You know, typically I go like shield or speed. Mythic gear is okay, but it's not like game-breakingly strong, so for me, gadget gear is a must-have on Crow. Next up on the gadget list, we have Buzz and his gadget that gives you an extra hook. So of course, with Buzz, again, kind of similar to Edgar in a way, once he runs out of his supers, or he like misses a super, he can be a sitting duck. But when you have 4 gadgets to use, 4 chances to latch onto the opponent and just make plays, make space, this gadget, of course, is going to be really strong. I feel, well, this gear is going to be pretty strong, and I feel like with Buzz, you know, all the gears are pretty okay with him, but none of them I would say are like must-haves. You know, a lot of them like speed, damage, and shield are okay, but its gadget gear is a must-buy. It allows you just to create so many more plays, you need to get it. So moving on to the next brawler, which you definitely need to get the gadget gear with, it is Maisie. So with Maisie, I feel like it's pretty simple to get this gadget gear with her, because again, all the other gadgets are okay with her, but typically the way you play Maisie is to make plays with the gadget and super combination, and once you run out of gadgets, I feel like you're nowhere near as much of a threat. I feel like it's pretty easy to predict Maisie a lot of the time, and you're not much of a, you know, you haven't got much presence on the field. So if you have 4 of those gadgets, 4 chances to get a gadget and super combination, you're going to be so deadly. If anything, Maisie's going to be even better now. So next up on the gadget gear list, we have Mortis and his gadgets. Well, both of them are pretty good: Survivor Shovel and Combo Spinners. But normally I use Survival Shovel because it gives you that extra bit of ammo, and I think it'll just allow you to make plays. So Mortis technically has received quite a few indirect buffs in a way. You've got the gadget gear, you've also got Coiled Snake being combined with his recent buff. I think it makes him a lot better. You're able to capitalize on enemies' mistakes a lot easier, especially with the 4th gadget as well. Mortis secretly could be much better than an F-tier brawler. Okay, so moving on to the next brawler, which you definitely have a gadget gear with, it is Rico. So again, with Rico, you could actually pretty much use every single gear inside of a game. So I'd say maybe this isn't like the most must-have, but still for me personally, I actually use this gadget gear over all of the other ones. So you can say that me as a Rico main, I think you get tremendous value with it. So whether, especially in Power League, you can just switch out your gadgets. Most of the time now, I use multiple launchers. Actually, one of the best gadgets in the game, in my opinion. It's so strong, and if you have 4 multiple launchers, you're able to get so much pressure, deal so much damage, and counter tanks so heavily. But again, if you want to switch up the game mode, for example, if you want to go on knockout, you can use Bouncy Castle pretty easily as well and get a lot of value with that. I feel like you definitely need it on Rico. Alright guys, it's going to be it for today's video, but just quickly I'm going to show you a few more brawlers which is probably worthwhile picking up the gadget gear with, and just show you which ones I've purchased it for. So I've spent a lot of money on it. So with Shelly, I bought this gadget gear, of course, really strong with her. I think I got it on Brawl. Well, I will be purchasing on Brawl. It's pretty good with Stomper. I actually purchased it with Brock as well, because I feel like you do get some good value with the other ones, but having 4 rocket fuels is so toxic. You're able just to put out so much pressure. You can actually buy it with Poco as well, because you got to consider, especially if you're playing Hot Zone, you're able to remove the adverse effects 4 times. You know, 4 crow slows. You kind of need 4 protective tunes as well. Of course, I already got it on Dynamite. I also got it on Rosa as well, because 4 bushes is pretty insane, especially on Gem Grab or just any game mode. You're actually able to cause so much chaos with this one. Of course, I got it with Rico. I got it with Dynamite. I got it with Carl as well. I think I got it with Jackie as well, because 4 pneumatic boosters is really strong. In terms, I think I got it with, yeah, I got it with Gus as well, of course, with Kooky Pop. I feel like Kooky Pop is a little bit worse. I think, yeah, I've got it with M's as well, because having 4 knockbacks is essential, especially against brawlers like Mortis. Yeah, with Piper as well, having 4 curves is just insane, especially on you know, you're playing Bounty, you're playing Shooting Star, you're going to be able to get a lot of pressure. Rattled Hive with B, I got it with her, got it with Edgar as well. With Bonnie, being able to get 4 sugar rushes. Mortis, of course. Tara, pretty strong as well. I think with Byron I bought it, yeah, because you're able to get 4 booster shots, able to charge that super so quickly. Residue, as I already said. Gray as well. Trying to think of any more. You've got the likes of Crow. I don't think I bought it on Sandy because I really like the damage and speed combination. Trying to think of any other at the top of my head. I think with Colette, yeah, with 4 gotcha gadgets, that is pretty strong in my opinion. You could probably use it on Belle and Ruffs as well because they are pretty toxic gadgets. You have Buzz as well. Fang with 4 stuns is pretty strong. I forgot to mention as well, which actually should have been at the top of this list. So if you're still watching, Buster is a must get in terms of the gadget gear because you're able to get 4 slow-mo replays, and it's actually pushed him to one of the better brawlers in the game, in my opinion. You can quite easily buy the gadget on a lot of these brawlers. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.